Hello and welcome to the Halloween special. I was that kid who, growing up, would see dead people and often communicate with them, not knowing that no one else in my family could ever do that. So, that is me today, communicating with your loved ones on the other side. For those of you who don't know who I am Teja Priyadarshini. I'm a soul alchemist and a psychic medium who helps you on your journey to expand your consciousness and allow you to overcome any obstacles that are stopping you from being who you totally want to be or creating the life that you want to create and live. So, today, in this Halloween special, I am going to be giving you messages from your loved ones on the other side. So, we're going to wait for a few minutes till people start joining in and we will take it from there. Before we get into the whole receiving messages for your loved ones, I must tell you that recently I started offering 30 minutes of free mediumship readings for those who have lost their loved ones and are not sure what's happened to them, or who are in a very bad state of grieving because they probably had sudden deaths, or it was an unexpected death, or there was some mystery surrounding that death and not enough information available. So I want to be able to give you that information on these 30-minute live readings. The only thing that I ask back for this free reading is that you allow me to use that recording to put it up on social media like YouTube or Instagram so that others like you can benefit from knowing that I exist and that they may find me on the social media to come and have sessions with me in the future. So that is all I want from you for these 30 minutes free readings. And if you are interested, there is a form that you can fill up. There's a long list of people already who are waiting for these readings. And if you are one of them listening to me right now, trust me, I will get in touch with you. There is a long wait of a few people, so I need to get through to them before I get to you. So you will be there in that list. Just give me some time to get to you because I have my other regular clients as well that I take, sessions with. So give me time to get to you on that list if you have already applied for that free reading. All right. And I'm also going to be uh, hoping that a few people come through. And if you want messages from your loved ones, all you need to do is send me on the chat your full name, not with initials, with the full name, so that I can receive messages from whoever has passed on. So I'm going to take all these names down first, and then I'm going to start giving messages for those who are looking for messages from their loved ones on the other side. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, if you can't hear me properly, do let me know in the chat so that I can address these concerns before we get going. All right. So leave your full names to receive information regarding your loved ones on the other side, and I will get the messages as soon as they start transmitting. All right. Um, all right. I'm getting names in now. Hello, guys. Nice to see you, all of you here. And please bear in mind that it can be anybody who can come through. It doesn't have to be somebody you want to come through. For example, if you want, say, your parent to come through, you could probably get an uncle or a grandmother coming through as well. It's not in my control, unfortunately. So whoever comes through is what I'm going to be giving you the message. So if it is a loved one on the other side, it could be like an uncle or a grandmother as well. But if they have like a specific message that you need to hear today, then that message will be delivered to you. All right. And if you're sending me your names, please make sure you send me your full name, not just your first name, but like your first, middle, and last name. If you have any middle name, also please include that so that the messages are clear. I'm just going to wait for a few more names to come in before I start doing the readings. And if you have any questions on how this works, let me tell you that I'm not going to be disturbing any souls. It's not a seance. I'm not calling the spirit from the spirit world to come into our world to deliver messages. So rest assured that we're not disturbing any of your loved ones. It doesn't work like that. The way it works actually is like a long distance phone call. So I am going to be connecting through a guidance system. My guides are going to be the ones who are connecting with the spirit world, and through them is where we receive messages. So we're not going to be disturbing any loved ones on the other side, and we are going to get as much information as possible from the other side for you. If there is a specific person as well that you want a message from, do let me know. If they come through, great. Otherwise, I'm just going to describe to you the kind of person is who's coming through, and then you need to make sense of if this message is for you or not. All right. So do leave me your full names, including your middle name and your surname. All right. So let's start the reading. We've got like a couple of names here already. Mm, if there are more people watching, keep sending me your messages, your names, and we'll see what comes through. All right. I'm just going to take a moment to connect and keep the names coming. Happy Halloween. All right. What may. So the first person I'm picking is Anita Sheshadri. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. What message do I have for Anita Sheshadri? So, Anita, for you, I am picking up on a lady's presence here, somebody who's either a mother or an aunt, or in that capacity, a motherly figure is showing up, um, but doesn't seem to be too old to be a grandmother. So, please confirm if that is what this person is. I'm seeing a lady who had a great amount of affection for you, somebody who I see wearing saris, but they're like either synthetic or they're chiffon georgette kind of saris with very small print on it. And she's here to give you a message. So I'm just going to let her come through. Anita Sheshadri, if you're listening, please confirm if this is a person that you are looking to receive a message from. What is the message for her? So she's telling me that you need to unwind and relax. There is a lot going on in your life at the moment. And she's telling me that you are either pushing yourself too much, or there's a lot of stress in your life that is not allowing you to relax. So she's asking you to unwind and relax. That's a very important message for you, because she's seeing that you are at wit's end, almost as if you're going to have a breakdown of sorts. So she's asking you to make sure that you get enough rest, make sure that you are able to unwind and relax, is the message that I'm getting through from this lady. May I know your relationship with her? I'm getting mother and aunt. It feels almost like she is, or she was probably a motherly figure in your life, but could be an aunt, not necessarily your mother. But she's giving me a very, very kind energy from her side. It feels like she died prematurely, or like, she died probably in her late 40s or early 50s or something of that sort. She doesn't seem too old. So please see if you can connect with this message. Anita, if you're listening to this, and let me know in the comments if this message has resonated with you. I'm going to move on to the other people who are sending me messages now. The next person is Padma Parthasarthi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Padma Parthasarthi, I'm seeing your grandfather here, somebody who, even though he may not be physically very tall, or he may have been physically very tall, but he's giving me this appearance of someone who probably had some authority over a few people's lives. So, Padma, if you're listening to this, just confirm if it is your grandfather you're looking for a message from, because the person who's coming through has a very um, grandfatherly kind of an energy about him. He is, it gives me the feeling of him being like a school teacher or a headmaster or something of that, something in the academics. If he wasn't, but at home, he might have had that kind of a personality. Um, the person who's coming through, your grandfather, is giving me this feeling of wanting to let you know, Padma, that he is still connected with your family and the ancestral lineage that you have. He's talking about how there is a disconnect between the way you're living your life at the moment and the way your ancestors want you to live your life. It has nothing to do with traditional values, but he's saying that there are certain patterns that your ancestors had repeating in their lives. And he seems to be wondering why you are picking up on that same pattern in your life as well. He wants you to kind of break that pattern so that you can break the ancestral, I wouldn't call it a curse, but it's like almost like a repetitive pattern that's been happening over generations. So he wants you to basically break that pattern so that the future generations do not have to fall into that same pattern, because this pattern, whatever it is not a healthy one. It's not allowing you to live the life that you want to live. There's a lot of emotion that is coming from him. He says that when he was alive, he wasn't able to express himself that much. This is a message for Padma Parthasarthi. So if you're listening, do give me a thumbs up if this message resonates with you. um, he's saying that when he was alive, he wasn't able to kind of express himself fully. He wasn't able to break the pattern himself, but he feels that you could be one of the people in their lineage that can break certain patterns and uh, make life for the future generations much, much better. All right. This is a message for Padma Parthasarthi. I also have, is it Sheikh Nabina or Shaikh Nabina? I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Um, I'm going to ask for Sheikh Nabina. If you're there here, Nabina, just give me a thumbs up, and then we can take it from there. Is there a message for Sheikh Nabina? Hmm. All right. So, is there? I'm seeing two people showing up for you, Nabina. If this resonates with you, it is one person is. It feels like grandparents, but at the same time, one person feels more like a father figure than a grandparent. But the lady seems to be a grandmother. So if this is something that you are getting, let me know if this message resonates with you. Um, I'm seeing that the lady had passed quite some time ago. The lady who's showing up for you, Nabina, but the man is probably someone who passed recently, like maybe a few years ago. Okay. Um, Thank you, Sheshadri. That's amazing. But let me just get this message for Sheikh Nabina. Um, so this person who's passed over in the last recent few years, he seems to be like a male figure, almost like a father, I would say. Mm, Interesting is that both these people are standing next to each other, the lady and the man, the gentleman, but the lady seems to be quite faded, which makes me feel like she passed uh, many years ago, and it feels like she could be his mother, a grandmother, an aunt, somebody in the maternal side. But the feeling they're giving me is that she was his mother and she's been standing with him. So if your father had passed recently, she would like you to know that he's in good hands, he's at home with her. um, your father is not saying too much because it feels like there's some sort of sadness that's lingering with him. It feels like his passing was too soon. If this is your father, if this is not your father, if it could be an uncle figure, because relationships are something that are very hazy for me to pick up on. So if this is a father figure, then do tell me if it's a yes or a no. But if it is an uncle or somebody you'd considered a father figure in your life, then let me know if that is what is coming through. Because this person seems to be holding on to some sort of a sadness. It's almost like a disappointment of not being able to fulfill something that he's doing. Um, it feels like something happened before he passed, which led to a sad state in his mind. Like it either he had some incomplete business or unfulfilled wish that he wanted to get done before he passed, but it didn't happen. That feeling is coming across, but he's also giving me this feeling of sadness. Like he's not really saying much. He's just giving me the feeling in my heart. Is there a message that you would like to give, Nabina? If you have been asking, Nabina, that if you are on the right path or if you're doing the things that they wanted you to do, then they want you to know that yes, you are on the right path. They're asking you to focus on yourself. They're asking you to focus on your goals in life and not to get influenced by what other people want. They're also giving me this feeling like don't come under pressure and do things that you will not be happy about in the future. Even if it is a difficult decision, you need to make that decision, is what is coming through from um, these people on the other side. Again, there's a bit of a haze regarding the relationship they have with you, Nabina. So if there is somebody who I am connecting with and you know who it is, then please leave me a comment so that I can also understand this better. But this is what I was getting for Nabina. Any of you joining in right now and you want a message from the other side, leave me your full name and I will get back to you. I have one more person here. So let's just go through the comments. Sheshadri, I've already disconnected from your mother, so I won't be able to reconnect with her now. Um, is there somebody else here? Because I'm getting messages from a couple of different people. Uh, Shiva Mitra, yes, it doesn't have to be somebody that you want a message from. It could be from anybody in your family, or it could be sometimes, it's very rare, but it does happen where you receive a message for either, say, for your friends or for your relatives or for even your neighbors sometimes, because you're the closest link that the spirit has to sending the message across through me to you to them. So it could be anybody who might pop in to say hello and give the message. So usually I don't have control in these general sessions who shows up, but if you are looking for a more specific, one-on-one session, then we could do that. It's called Soul Communications. You will find that on my website. We can go back and forth asking that specific person you want our messages from through that particular session. So, yes, we can communicate with people specifically in a private session, but on these lives or when I'm doing group sessions, I'm opening the veil and I'm opening the door to anyone who wants to come through to give messages for you. So, it could be anybody, like your uncle, your grandparent, your friend. It could be anybody who comes through to give you a message. All right. So, I'm going to read for Savita Kaushik Dhami. Are you here? All right. Um, Savita Kaushik Thami. Savita, if you're listening to this, is there an aunt who's passed recently? Because I'm seeing a motherly figure, but I'm getting this feeling of an aunt, not a mother. Um, I'm seeing like this person might have passed like either a few years ago, because I'm getting this feeling of even if she has passed recently, I'm seeing that she's already moving on very quickly to the spirit side because her energies seem quite faint. But I'm also getting this feeling like she was not very old when she passed. She was quite young when she passed. It feels almost like a sudden thing. People were not expecting it to happen. I'm also getting this feeling like she's left behind a son. She had a son. Is that correct? 'Cause I'm getting a feeling like she probably had a child, and she's giving me this feeling of a son or of a young child, probably in the teenage years. I'm also getting this feeling like She was a very smart woman. The message that she has for you, Savita, is that she's quite proud of what you're doing at the moment. She feels like you have kind of turned your life around, and that you have, mm, you're not there yet, but she feels that you have a plan in place where you're working towards getting there. And it's something that she's always wanted for you. And it feels like there is a sense of pride that, yeah, finally things are moving ahead. Things are going in that direction. If she didn't have a son, it could be a daughter who has a very sun-like energy. So the way the messages come to through me is you. It doesn't have to be a son, but it could be a daughter or somebody that um, could have had that energy. Is she related? Does she have a sister who has a son? If she doesn't have a son, because there is a boy she's showing me. If it is your son, I'm not sure, but there's a boy she's showing me who's in his teenage years, like sometime something around 14 or something like that, which she's giving me this feeling about looking after him. Like she's got her eye on him. That is the message she's giving me. So if she had a son, or if you have a son, or if she has a sister who's had a son, but it's something in the maternal side of things, um it's very mm, there's this one particular person she has her eye on, who's not very old. Could be the youngest son, could be somebody somebody else's son, like it could be your son if you're asking about it. But I'm specifically seeing a boy who's around 14, 15, or someone who looks very young for his age, who looks like a teenager. um, but she's got her eye on him, and that is what she wants you to know. And the message for you is that she's very proud of what you're doing with your life at the moment. All right, that is the message that you have. All right, she's got three sons, very young infants, 3 and 2 year old. Okay, the sons are all grown up. I know you'll have to figure out the message. Like I said, it can be very specific, or it can be very vague. Because I'm not doing a private session with you, I will not be able to get specific answers. But the way she's showing me is what I can share with you, and then you'll have to probably make sense of it from there. All right. So that's the message that I have for you, Savita. Um, is it Navudu Jansi or Navudu Jansi? I mean, you can't probably pronounce it right now, but I'm hoping it's Navudu Jansi. All right. Is there anybody specific you want messages from, Jansi? Because what I'm sensing for you is like there is a friend also who's passed on, somebody from college perhaps. And I'm getting this feeling of hometown incident. A friend is coming through for you, Jansi. So if you can please confirm that, then I can focus on them and bring them through. I'm also getting a lady who's passed on. Yeah, is it a friend, or is it a lady who's passed on? Jansi, can you just specify that? Because the person I'm receiving messages from is a friend. It feels like something happened, almost like an accident, but I'm also seeing nighttime. I don't know if the incident happened in the night or early hours, but I'm seeing darkness around her. She's also giving me this feeling of unprocessed grief. So I don't know if she took her own life. It feels like she's taken her own life, Jansi, your friend, if you're asking about her. I'm getting this feeling of a very young girl, probably in her early 20s or mid 20s or something of that sort. And I'm also getting this feeling like it happened in the night. That is the feeling she's giving me. So just confirm that. It almost feels like she took her own life, but she was driven to take her own life. Emotionally, she wasn't stable. It feels like something had happened that kind of pushed her into that space in her life where it got really, really dark. If that makes sense to you, please let me know. Because these messages, like I said, they come in, randomly, and I will need to get some confirmation from you guys so that I know that I'm catching on to the right person. The whale is open, so I have like a lot of entities here right now who wants to communicate with you guys and give messages. So when you confirm, yeah, this is the person, then I'm able to kind of tune into them to receive more information. All right. So, if Jansi, if you're listening to this, just let me know if it is your friend, because I have a feeling like there's a message that she wants to give to her parents through you. Um, it's almost like she wants them to know that she's all right, that she is not in a bad place anymore, because I feel like her parents are still grieving her loss. Is this about your friend, Jansi? Because I'm getting a girl here who was in your college and she had passed on, and it was a suicide. And that's the message that she wants me to give you, that to tell her parents that she's okay on the other side. She's not in a state where she's in darkness anymore. But she also regrets what she had done. She feels now that she could have probably dealt with the entire situation differently. And she says to me that I just want my parents to know that it wasn't them. It wasn't that they did something that led me to take my own life. So if you have a friend from college or from like some time back who took her own life, this is a message that she wants you to deliver to her parents. So that is what I'm getting through from your friend Jancy. If this makes sense, just let me know. I'm going to move on now, guys. You need to like message immediately so that I'm going to have some instant responses for you. Otherwise, I will be waiting for a reply and then I will have to go back and forth as and when the replies come to me. All right. Uh, so the next person is Papia Mondal. Is that correct? Papia Mondal. I hope I haven't missed anybody in between. Yes. All right. Papia Mondal. Any messages for her? If there's a specific person that you want to receive messages from, just let me know who it is as well when you're writing your full name down. In case they're around, I can probably try and tap into them. Mm, is there any messages for Papi and Mondal? Papia, is there somebody? Yeah, I'm getting like a brother or an uncle who's coming through, or an uncle who was more like a brother to you, because I don't see him being much older than you are. Um, it feels like in relationship he was probably your uncle, but then you considered him your brother, something like that is coming through. Is that correct, Papia? Is all right, good. Your uncle, he's giving me this feeling of a very happy-go-lucky kind of a person, who's somebody who, while he was alive, he was quite jovial. Um, was there like a serious illness or something through which he passed? Because I'm getting this feeling like uh, it wasn't an accident, neither was it a suicide, but it feels like an illness. which kind of probably was undiagnosed for a long time, and it suddenly became a very serious thing for him. Um, Papi Amanda, any messages? No, I'm talking about your uncle, Papiya, not your grandfather, because he's showing me this feeling of something happening to him suddenly, like either a sudden illness or a sudden um, condition that he had. All right, he had a heart attack, because it feels like it wasn't diagnosed before and it suddenly happened. Any message that you have for Papi Amanda? Was he married? Because I'm getting this feeling like he wasn't very old when he passed. Probably again late 40s. I'm getting the number 48. Um, 48 or 52. These are the two numbers he's showing me. But I'm also seeing he's showing me his family. He's showing me his wife, especially. Was he married? Did he have a family, Papia? I'm also seeing young children in his house. So I don't know if they were his children or if he lived in a joint family where there were kids around. But I'm seeing that he's got two children. If it is not his, then there were two kids in the house that he stayed in along with others. But I feel like he was part of a joint. Yeah, sorry, I was going to say that. I feel like he was part of a joint family. Like it wasn't like he lived by himself. So there are people around him, is what I'm saying. And it feels like either he was the middle child or the last child. I don't see him being the oldest in the family. I also see that he was somebody who kind of had an emotional connection with everybody in the family. So he kept the whole family together. He just wants everyone to know he's all right. That is what is coming through, because he feels like a lot of people when he passed went into a state of depression or some state of shock that it would happen to somebody as young as him. So he wants them to know that it was something that he could not avoid, that he had to leave when he did. He says not to think of him missing, because he's always like, I see his energy in the family. It feels like even in your family, as a joint family, you guys are always talking about him, or there are pictures of him around or something of that sort, because he says, I'm always around in the house. People will feel my presence is gone, but I am always there with them. I want them to know it. And he's yes, his wife misses him a lot, but he is also with his wife all the time. That is why when we connected, he showed me his wife, who was very important to him. Feels like a young person. He wants her to know that he misses, seeing her face in a physical form. But he's showing me her face. He's something about her face that he really liked a lot. He feels like. Um, Something about it being moon or chand or something like that, something to do with chand or chandani, something like that. He's showing me that he whenever he looked at her face, he felt like, you know, a lot of love for her. So that is what I'm getting from him when I'm she's showing me her face and he's giving me love in my heart for her. So it makes me feel like he still loves her even though he's on the other side. But he wants you to know that he is still in the family. He's very much attached to the family. He's not left the family yet. So his energy is still in and around the family. So don't have any feelings of him being gone, departed, like away. He's there. His energies are still there. Any other messages for Papiya Mandar? Um, this might sound very generic, but he just wants you to be happy. He wants you to keep doing what you're doing. Um, I don't know. He gives me this feeling of like you're studying for something or working to getting something that involves a certification or some sort of a study. He asks you to not worry about it. He says that you will get through whatever you want, just to keep focusing on it. All right, that is something that is coming through very clearly for you, Papia. Those are the messages that I have for you from your uncle. You're welcome. Um, Gurala Venkata Naveen Reddy. Okay. Is there somebody you would like to connect with specifically? Gurala Venkat Naveen Reddy. Oh, awesome. You're studying for a job. All the best. I think that is what he was telling. You will get through with it, but to just keep focusing on it. You're welcome. All right. Messages for Gurala Venkat Naveen Reddy. Anybody here for him? Is his mother here? Has it been a recent passing of your mom? Because I'm getting this feeling it hasn't been a year yet, or like it's been like something to do with 6 months or 7 months, something like that is coming through. I don't know if it's been a recent death in the family. Just keep confirming that, Naveen, if you're here. Mm. I'm seeing that if this lady, whoever is coming through, if this is your mother, she seems to be very soft spoken, somebody who was never very loud, who was quite always to herself, kind of an introvert, is what I'm getting. Somebody who, so if this is not your mother, please check in your family if there's somebody else like this. I'm getting a feeling of a person, something about the, did something happen 6 months ago? If not her passing, did something happen 6 months ago? Because I'm getting 6 months. The moment I connected with her energies, I'm getting 6 months. So I assumed that she was telling me that she passed away 6 months ago. But now when I'm connecting even deeper with her, she's giving me this feeling like it's been 2, 3 years at least since she's passed. But something happened 6 months ago. Did something happen in your life, Naveen, 6 months ago? This person I'm connecting to seems quite. How would I say, someone who never really interfered with other people. If she had opinion, she kept it mostly to herself unless somebody asked her. She wouldn't talk about her opinions. It also feels like she was always in the background. Like she was not somebody in the forefront. She was not someone who was aggressive, or not someone who kind of commanded the ship, so to speak. It almost feels like she was the one taking care of everybody else, but in the background. You know, it felt like your father probably would have been more of a forefront kind of a person, but with her, she seems to be in the background. If this is not your mother, please let me know, because I'm getting a very specific message about something happening 6 months ago that started some sort of a worry in your life, something that makes you feel like you may not be able to handle it. And she wants you to know that things are going to sort themselves out. So if this is not your mother, you're getting a message from somebody in your family who probably passed about 2 or 3 years ago, and is referring to some incident that happened in your life 6 months ago. Naveen, if you're listening, you need to message uh, as soon as you receive my messages, because then it'll give me more information. Okay, she's not your mother. But was there a person who passed, who I'm describing? Was there somebody like that in your life? Was there like an aunt or a grandmother? Because I'm definitely getting uh, a motherly feeling from her, or somebody who was in the backdrop, like background. She took care of everybody. She took care of the house, but it wasn't like she was not in the forefront. So this is not your mother. Then somebody else is coming through, who's giving you this message about something that happened 6 months ago. Did something happen 6 months ago? All right, I'm not receiving anything from Naveen at the moment, but if did something did happen 6 months ago, they want you to know who this person is. That okay, but if there was an incident that happened in your life 6 months ago, somebody in your family, if not your immediate family, it could be an aunt or somebody from, one of the ladies in your family who's passed about 2 3 years ago, is getting this giving me this message that if you're worried about something that you feel is very overwhelming, that you can't take care of, and you're trying to figure out ways to kind of overcome a particular situation which has been on your mind for the last 6 months, they want you to know that it's going to sort itself out by, not to worry about it. That is something that is very specifically coming for you, Naveen. So I don't know who's giving you this message. It's strange. Like sometimes I can pick up on the energies, which are very clear. They're very clear as day. But then sometimes I have to explain to you how they look like so that you can connect with this energy. So I have done my best to describe this person to you. If this is your person, then you can be assured that the message for you is not to worry, because whatever it is that you are focused on at the moment, whatever it is that you're struggling with regards to something specific that's on your mind that is creating a lot of tension, they are telling you not to worry about it. It's going to sort itself out. All right, this is the message that I have for you, Naveen. Hi Apeksha, can you give me your full name, and if there's any particular person you want to receive messages from? You're welcome, Naveen. Apeksha Jain. Any messages for Apeksha Jain? Are there any messages for Apeksha Jain? Apeksha Jain. Any messages? Was there a sister or a cousin, someone who passed? Apeksha? I'm seeing a young girl, uh, probably in her 20s or early 30s. Who is this person for Apeksha Jain? Is there a cousin sister or a friend who you considered a sister or somebody who passed? Um, she's showing me some sort of an incident that happened outdoors. It could be somewhere um, in the hills or the mountains, like some sort of a road accident. Was it a road accident? It feels like an unfortunate event that happened. Is this a friend of yours, Apeksha, that I'm connecting with, somebody that might have met with an accident? Because I'm seeing like a young girl who's coming through, who's giving me this feeling of something happening with her on her, either she was outside like on a trek or on some sort of an adventure travel, something like that. There was a road accident. Okay, if anyone else is listening to this, and if this is your friend, if it doesn't have to be Apeksha Jain's friend, but if this is your friend, I'm seeing somebody who is, I have a feeling like this message is for somebody else who might be watching this video after I finish doing the live. It feels like this person who's coming through, it happened during an adventure trip, or like she was on a road trip through the hills or through the mountains, and an accident had happened. it doesn't feel like she died at the spot of the accident. It feels like she died much later on. But I don't think her family could have, like, I don't think her family got to her on time. She passed before she got to us, so she wants them to know that she didn't mean to go on that trip. She's feeling guilty about going on that trip. It felt like she was so happy to go on that trip. It was almost a joy for her to finally plan that trip and execute it. But she feels, in hindsight, she shouldn't have probably gone on that trip by herself or with her other friends. She regrets not being able to have said all those things to her family, um, to say that she loved them. It feels like her mother and her father tried getting to that spot when they received the news, but she was already gone by then. So she didn't die at the accident spot. Feels like she died at a hospital or somewhere en route to the hospital, but she wasn't. She didn't die at the spot. She had like a head injury. I'm seeing trauma to the head. So if somebody else is listening to this and if this resonates with you, please understand this is a message specifically for you. If it's a friend or a sister, somebody in that category, sister, cousin, friend, like it feels like even if it's your friend, you consider this person as your sister, or it could be your sister that was coming through. But this message is not for Apeksha Jain, it is for somebody else. So just see if this message resonates with you when you're listening to this. Any messages for Apeksha Jain, please? A picture with you, I'm seeing somebody, could be your uncle who's coming through, but I'm seeing a man who is not very tall. He seems to be young, but he's not very tall, is the feeling that I'm getting a picture. I'm also getting this feeling like this person was either someone who traveled a lot or someone who traveled for work. If this is your uncle, please let me know, Apeksha. Or if there's somebody else in your family who traveled a lot for work. Because the person I'm seeing, it feels like a very close part of your family. Someone who probably was your uncle, or you all stayed together at some point, or somebody who interacted with you on a regular basis. But this man who's coming through, uh, is showing me that he used to travel a lot, either through work or he liked to travel by himself. But I feel it was mostly because of his work. He traveled a lot. It could be like locally or domestically, but I feel like I'm seeing he's showing me wearing formal shoes for some reason and trousers, um, and he's showing me that the soles of his feet, the soles of his shoes are quite, um, how do I say, well worn. So like either he walked a lot or he traveled a lot is the feeling that he's giving me. I'm also seeing gray trousers and black shoes, if that resonates with you. But he's not very tall. I mean, probably not short on like below 5 feet, but it feels like an average heighted person. Very very energetic is what I'm getting. Somebody who took on a lot, like lot of responsibility is what I'm feeling. If this is your uncle, do let me know, Peksha. It feels like the era or the time that he's showing me where he when he was alive seems to be in the 90s, um, or 2000s, but it feels it's not going beyond that. So if he passed, he might have passed either in the late 2000s, um, not in the tens, but in the 2000s, if that makes sense. Like it could be 2008, 2009, somewhere around that time. What is so? Is there a specific message you would like to give a picture, Jim? It almost feels like he's moved on. It feels like his spirit has moved on and is on its way to reincarnating again. I don't know if somebody in your family is pregnant, but he wants you to know that he may be coming through very soon. It feels like there is this feeling of he wants to reincarnate in the family again. It feels like whatever his unfinished lessons were in before he died, he wants to kind of kind of take a rebirth again. He died in the 80s, okay. Because that's I'm not seeing too much crowd on the streets. I'm seeing like the roads were much more peaceful. There was not much traffic, so 1980s does make sense. And it feels like he wants to come back again. It feels like he wants to reincarnate very soon. So if there is somebody in your family who's pregnant, um, there may be a chance that your uncle is coming through again. So this is something that he wants you to know, and probably relay that information to your family as well. So if there's nobody pregnant in the family, then it could be, you know, at a future point. But he wants to come through again to this particular family. He feels like there are things that he hadn't finished before he died, and he wants to learn those lessons or complete those lessons by reincarnating again in the same family. So if this is like a message that may not resonate with you right away, but if there is somebody in the family who's pregnant, then it could be that he might incarnate through that particular family member. All right. Hi, Kinari. Hi, Clara as well. All right. So, Clara, I need your full name. Anybody who's looking to get messages, we have like another 10 minutes to go. So, give me your full name. Any middle name you have. Don't give me initials. Give me your full name. And if there's a person you want to connect on the other side, then let me know who that is as well. Hi, Darlene. So, Clara, if I can have your full name. Also, I want to remind you guys again that I'm doing a 30 minutes free soul communication reading for anyone who wants to connect with their loved ones on the other side, especially if they don't know what happened to them, they have like missing information, and they want to receive specific messages from their loved ones. Then I do something called soul communications. You can also book a private reading, a one-on-one reading with me. But those of you who want my 30 minutes free reading, the only thing that I'm asking in return is that I can use your recording as material for my YouTube and my Instagram, only so that other people can see your videos and understand that I exist, and they can come and receive messages from me. That is the only reason I'm asking for using your recordings. If that is something that you're willing to do, then you can just fill up a form that I will probably post on the description in my YouTube video for this live, and join the waiting list, because there are a lot of people on the list already that I still need to get to. And if you have already applied, please understand that it takes some time for me to get through to everybody, and I also have my regular clients, so it might take a while. But apart from that, 30 minutes free reading in exchange for me to use your recordings on YouTube and on Instagram. And if you're okay with that, send me a message and we can do the 30-minute reading. All right. If you're looking for messages right now, full names, please. And if there is anybody in particular that you want to connect with, that would be also helpful. If you can tell me who you want to connect with. So I haven't, Kinari Patel, if you are looking for messages from somebody, please let me know. But I'm going to be reading for Darlene Vassar now. Anybody here for Darlene Vassar? Darlene, is there like an ex-husband or somebody on the other side who was a husband, perhaps? Please confirm that. Keep sending your messages as soon as I also respond to you, so that it becomes, you know, immediate for me to respond. But I'm seeing somebody, Darlene, for you, who probably you had a deep, loving connection with. Need not have been a husband if that is not what I'm picking up on, but it feels almost like a connection or a union that had happened between you and this person. Somebody. you probably had a romantic connection with at some point in your life. Because I'm seeing a man, quite a tall, burly man showing up. And when I'm asking who that could be, I'm getting this feeling like he was probably somebody you were connected with on a romantic space. If not an ex-husband, it could be an ex-boyfriend as well. But somebody who you had very deep affections for. Was it somebody like that, or is this for someone else? I'm not sure. I'm picking up on a man. All right, could be an ex-lover. Um, So this person seems to be quite tall and burly, like well built man. I'm also seeing someone who either had facial hair like a beard or a mustache. I'm also seeing like darker brown hair, but also salt and pepper at the same time. I'm not sure why he's showing up like that. Seems to be somebody who was working in something that involved physical labor, like something to do with their hands, masonry, construction, something like that. Um, if this is not your ex-lover, then it could be somebody who's trying to come through, who probably had feelings for you and you never knew. When was this? When was this connection with Darlene Vassar? Who's this person? He keeps saying she knows who I am, but it doesn't feel like some sort of a. It doesn't feel like a relation, like a family relation. It feels like somebody you've had ties with in the past, but probably didn't work out for some reason. But he kept still loving you, and the affection for you was still there. But you probably would have moved on. Somebody in the construction, somebody who worked in the construction or something to do with hands, some sort of physical labor. Um, It could be a doctor, yes, could be a doctor. If you're asking about a doctor, because when I'm asking him if he was a doctor, he says yes, but it also feels like apart from being a doctor, he might have done something with construction, like something to do with like either he liked doing DIY stuff or building stuff or something like that. It feels like he loved working with his hands. That is what I'm getting. But I'm getting this person who has a very calm demeanor. He doesn't seem to be someone who's hyperactive, or he's got this very calm energy about him. Um, he's coming to just to let you know that he's always had love and affection for you, even though it didn't work out between the two of you, even though it was a very short-lived thing. He always kept thinking about reaching out to you, and he never did, because he didn't want to interfere with your choices. He didn't want to manipulate you into coming back to him. He didn't want to do any of those things. So he wanted you to know this very specifically, that he always had affection for you. He still does, is what I'm getting. So if this is not the kind of person, I don't know who this is, Darlene, somebody on the spirit side who wants you to know that they have a lot of love and affection for you. And it's sending me. Might take a while sometimes, because I don't know who comes through when I ask about these things, right? So we are going to stop very soon. So I just gonna take one more person, and then we're gonna end the live. Yogini Patel, is this for Kinari Patel? Okay, all right. Any messages for Kinari Patel regarding her mother, Yogini Patel? So again, I'm seeing this lady with pastel colored saris. Um, any messages? Any messages for your daughter, Kinari Patel? So she wants you to know that she is seeing you and how you're living your life on a regular basis. It feels like she's still connected with you energetically, even though she is in the spirit side and she's moved on, but she feels, you can feel her presence sometimes. She wants you to know she's watching you. She wishes that she could tell you how to probably make certain choices in your life, but she's unable to communicate with you. So this is something that makes her a bit sad, but only because she can't communicate with you directly. She wants you to know that there are things in your life, Kinari, that you need to be aware of, and start looking at it objectively and not subjectively. So if you are in a situation at home or at work, she wants you to kind of remove yourself from the situation and see it from a different perspective, because it feels like people are making use of you and you're allowing them to use you, and she doesn't like that. I'm seeing, even at work, sometimes it's difficult to say no to certain people, and she says that this is continuing like a pattern in your life where you're unable to say no and stand your ground. This is something that she wishes that you could change, but it's also coming from her own life experience. It feels like she is somebody who um, was like that as well, who couldn't say no, and she doesn't want the same thing to repeat with her daughter as well. So she wants you to know that she wishes that you could change that. You can start standing up for yourself and kind of taking charge of your life rather than allowing people to do things to you and just going with the flow. She's asking you to stop and create a new path for yourself, which involves you saying no to certain people in certain circumstances. Um, she just doesn't want history to repeat itself, is what is coming to it. Almost feels like there were times when she couldn't say no herself, and she doesn't want that for you because it's putting you in a space which is not empowering. It's taking power away from you, and she doesn't want that. All right. um I know you miss her very badly, but she is with you. She wants you to know that. She wants you to kind of open communication with her, in any way you can. Just understand that even though she has moved on the spirit side, her energies are still connected with you, that she's still receiving messages. um, Sorry, she's still sending you messages even from the spirit side. Okay, Kinari, this is something that I'm getting from your mother. Darling, this is a message for another person on the group, Kinari. I hope the messages have resonated with you. And some of you, I know that the messages seemed a bit vague, but Spirit has a very interesting way of working. They give you messages, and then at a later time, it'll make sense sometimes, or it might happen at a later time when you suddenly realize, oh, Teja was talking about this particular person. All right. So if there is somebody who likes to have a personal reading with me, it would be more specific. That much I can assure you. In group settings, in group readings, there are a lot of, like, because the veil is also very thin today, tomorrow, day after. There are a lot of entities with me right now. So there's like mixed messaging going on as well, which is very unusual. I wonder why that is happening. Usually the messages are very, very clear, but it also feels we're going through a very transformative phase at the moment. There's a lot of a surge of spiritual energy in and around our planet. So everyone's emotional, everyone is getting heightened sense of feelings happening with them. So it's very overwhelming to lead these next couple of months, because a lot of emotions are going to come up to the surface for you to deal with and to release. So understand and be kind to yourselves. Do not be judgmental, do not be critical. Even though certain messages that I've given you today may not completely resonate with you, just sit with it. This live will also be put up on my playlist very soon. So go through it again if it doesn't make sense now. See if it resonates with you, or if the message was for someone else in your family who probably needed to listen to this message. All right. There was a message in between about a girl who lost her life in a accident. That message, I don't know who it is for. If somebody else is listening to this video later on, and if that message resonates with you, do leave me a comment so that I know it is validating for me as well. But the communication, you can open communication with your loved ones by just meditating, trying to connect with their energies. Usually they come through to give you messages in your dreams, so pay attention to your dreams in the next couple of days, because the veil is very thin. A lot of loved ones will come through in your dreams to give you messages, so pay attention to that. If you can light an incense and invite the spirits that are there for your highest good and highest good alone. This is very important. Your highest good and highest good alone to come through to give you messages. You will probably have like messages coming to you from various different sources. It could be that you see a name of a loved one on a postcard, or you could see that somebody who is your delivery boy with the same name of your loved one. These are the ways that your loved ones try and communicate with you. Please understand there are no fixed rule in the spirit world for communication. They can communicate with you through songs, through dreams, especially lights flickering in and out around your house, especially if you're asking for questions out loud and saying that, hey dad, I want to ask you this question about whether or not I should go on that particular trip. Blink or switch on and off the light if it's a yes or a no from you. You will probably notice that the lights will fluctuate. It may not happen immediately, but the more you start creating a relationship with your loved one in the spirit side, you will notice these things happening in and around you, which are so cool. So you don't have to worry about disconnecting from your loved one, even though they have left their physical bodies. You can still have a beautiful relationship with them in the spirit side. I have a wonderful relationship with my dad, though he's passed on. It's been quite some time now, but we still talk every now and again through these kind of messagings. He comes in my dreams quite a bit. So it is possible for you to have a beautiful relationship with your loved one even after they've passed. So the next 3 nights, pay attention to your dreams, ask your loved ones to come and give you a message in your dreams, write down anything and everything you remember, and open up a channel of communication with them. If you'd like to know more about how soul communication happens, we can do another live and I can answer all of your questions about it. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I will see you all again in another stream, another live pretty soon. Also, have a happy, 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 happy Halloween.